Rami Khouri is a distinguished public policy fellow at the American University of Beirut and joins me now from Boston, Massachusetts to discuss this. Rami, always good to have you on the program. Just take us through the aim here from Lebanon's government of disarming these factions in particular.
Well, Yashini, this is an ongoing story that's been dominant in internal Lebanese politics and dynamics for 30, 40 years. The 12 refugee camps, the Palestinian camps in Lebanon, were mostly governed by Palestinian armed factions. The government of Lebanon did not control them. They became, I wouldn't say lawless, but they were controlled by Palestinian armed factions, but they were also magnets for all kinds of people who were trying to escape from the Lebanese law or other countries, and they could come and sneak into the camps and nobody could catch them. They became areas of drug smuggling, arms smuggling, things like that. And then the Palestinian factions did use the camps to attack Israel years ago. They don't do so now. And also the armed Palestinian groups have said for years they need to be armed to protect themselves from many foes, including Lebanese armed factions. And you had the Sabra and Shatila massacre that was carried out in two Palestinian camps in 1982, I think it was, and with Israeli protection for the Lebanese groups. So there's many people who want to hurt the Palestinians, and they say they need the arms. But this is not something that can go on forever. The Lebanese government is under intense pressure from the United States and from Israel to make sure that the camps are disarmed as a first step towards disarming Hezbollah. There's an agreement among the Lebanese, it's been there for years, that in theory, only the Lebanese government and armed forces should have military weapons and facilities, light weapons, or heavy weapons, whatever. The reality is that it's never been implemented, and many Lebanese militia groups linked to some of the ethnic groups have a lot of weapons as well, and the Israelis do whatever they want in Lebanon. Yeah. But the pressure now is intense. The United States and Israel are pressing the Lebanese government, the new government, saying you've got to do this. Otherwise, there's not going to be funding coming in to rebuild Lebanon. There's not going to be assistance to strengthen the Lebanese army and police. But it's Rami, a very difficult situation.
Very difficult, but is this sort of disarmament really going to make a difference if Hamas and Hezbollah don't agree to do it? Because this is already creating more conflict within a country that is in a crisis.
Well, this has been there all along, and it's not, you've got Hamas, Fatah, Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, Islamic Jihad, many smaller groups historically. There's 12 camps all over Lebanon. In the north of Lebanon, the camps are heavily dominated by Islamist groups, like Islamic Jihad and others. And then you had at one point an offshoot of ISIS that was trying to take over one of the areas there, one of the camps. So this is a symbolic move, but it's an important symbolic move because it shows the Lebanese government is trying hard to start a process. That process will only achieve success if all the parties involved in bringing this situation to what it is are involved in trying to resolve it. In other words, it's not just the Palestinian camps or just Hezbollah. The two other actors are the Israelis, who for years have attacked Lebanon, and therefore the Lebanese needed to defend themselves. And it's the foreign colonial manipulation, starting from the French in the 1920s and 30s when they essentially created Lebanon, and now it's the United States. So you've got many different actors that brought this situation about, and they all have to play a role. Therefore, the U.S. is now trying to push the Israelis to reduce their attacks on Lebanon, to maybe withdraw from one of the 5 places in Lebanon that Israel still occupies, as a gesture to the Lebanese, saying, look, if you disarm the camps and get Hezbollah's weapons, we, the Israelis, will also stop threatening you. This is very ambitious stuff. But at some point, all of the actors, Israel, the US, the Lebanese, and the Palestinians, and then behind them you have the Saudis with their funding and other people who are important for Lebanon to get back on its feet. They all have to play a role. And so I think we need to see this as a symbolic, small step that will work if everybody does their job.
Rami Khouri, always great to get your analysis. Thank you very much.
Thank you.